Welcome everyone to another Observability Clinic. What's new in Dynatrace, August 2023. We are back with Berkan. Hi Berkan, how are you?
Hi Andy, thank you very much. I'm good. And how are things on your side?
Good, good. It's amazing how time flies. It's already end of August here, and we are giving updates on what's new in 271 and 272. If you do me a favor, let's click quickly on the next slide. So the format of this is we give you product updates, product news, and then we talk about documentation, tutorials, and community. With we, I mean most of the work, as always, Berkan, is done by you, but I always have the pleasure to introduce everything. Now, I do have two more slides that I want to highlight. If you do me the favor and go to the first one, there's a lot of new video content that we've put out there, both on university as well as on YouTube. Just a couple that I want to highlight as a new what's new or what is Dynatrace and how to get started. Reducing release risk with AI-driven feature flag analytics. These are part of the regular YouTube playlist for observability clinics. And then we also have a couple of tips and tricks. There's even more than those, but these are, I think, really highlights here. One more click, please. The next slide. Especially the what is Dynatrace and how to get started. Berkan, I think this is something that people should also know. Every Dynatrace user now, every Dynatrace user that has a SaaS account, whether you are a paying customer, whether you're a partner, or whether you're just exploring Dynatrace through a free trial account, you can access the new Dynatrace Discover tenant. It's like a demo environment. So it's a real tenant, but it's filled with data. There's a Kubernetes cluster, there's applications running on it, there's traffic generated, there's problem patterns turned on. So this is a great way for everyone to explore how Dynatrace looks and feels and walk through different use cases without maybe necessarily having to install the one agent on your own environment. So this is a great way to explore data. Now, I also created a GitHub repository, which you can find on the last link here on this page, where I created a couple of walkthroughs, how-to tutorials. So how to analyze distributed traces, how to navigate through a problem ticket, how to analyze your Kubernetes cluster, and things like that. So hopefully this will be helpful. Especially I like that we have this tenant now where everyone, the whole world, can kind of get in and explore the same data. And I think, Berkan, you also have a couple of things that you're working on might be good for you also to upload this then to this tenant so everybody can explore it in the future.
I think especially the notebooks will be really useful for all of our users and as well as the power partners, also for us actually.
Yeah.
So it's
all right.
really great news.
Yeah. So with this, I'll hand over to you because now you are the main star of the show. So please tell us more.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andy. So, okay, let's get it started. At first, we have our community feedback channel. As you might remember from our previous videos, please always share your questions, feedbacks in our community channels and inform our product managers and direct us, actually, let us know what we can change with our products and how we can change also that together with you. But basically, this is the channel you can use to inform us. And we have our Dynatrace University, where you can watch webinars, YouTube clinics, that videos, different tutorials. So it's the place that you go. And of course, we also have our Living Product Assistance channel. Please use this as much as possible. It will be nice to make this your first place to start your work with Dynatrace, your conversation with Dynatrace, and you will find lots of resources in there. And please just try it and see how it is efficient for you to use Dynatrace. So, okay. Now, as every month that we have these new 2 versions that we roll out in August, and in general we roll out our clusters every 2 weeks. So this month we are going to talk about the version 271 and version 272. And the features, the announcement that we have with these versions, the first one is the ActiveGate updates. To prevent the possible loss of buffered log event data, we recommend you to upgrade your agents, not directly to version newer than 272. Instead, please update your ActiveGate version 1.263 or earlier to a version between these versions. So this is important for you to not lose your old log event data. This is our first announcement. And the next one is we have log monitoring. we encourage you to switch to the latest version of Dynatrace log monitoring, because log monitoring version 1 will reach the end of life and will be switched off in November 2023, as you can see from here. If you need more details, please check this documentation and see how you can switch to the new version of log monitoring. So the application security parts, we now have released code level vulnerability analytics for Java and application protection for Java, this version. This will affect the schema, built-in schema, as you can see here, AppSec runtime vulnerability detection, and there will be two values are required for the setting. The first one is enable code level vulnerability detection, and the second one is global monitoring mode Java. You can see it's from the API documentation. The next one is that we introduced new attacks metric. It will help you to analyze your new attacks and apply filtering split by several dimensions and see the new attacks that over time. The attacks is basically that they are recently created. It also supports the management zone selector, so it is available in this version just for information. In addition to this, we introduced new dimensions to all vulnerability metrics. There's not enough space to list all these dimensions, so please check this documentation to see all the lists. And here you can see one example where I used open security problems metric and apply risk level as a dimension here and charts, as you see.
Cool.
That's good. So these are the updates on the platform end. If I go to our demo environments, now I'm going to show you what's exactly that we have in our platform. So this is the general documentation. As you probably already knew, that these are the version 271 to 272. You can reach these details from this page. If I jump on document security parts, okay, this is I was not expecting to see. I hope this doesn't affect all the other things, but it's okay. So here is the new attacks metric that I showed in the slides. From the Data Explorer application, when you put this, you will see lots of also possibilities of splitting options here. I used process group here, and I can see the new attacks over time for these two different process groups. To reach this application, you simply need to search for Data Explorer, and then you can easily find that application in your lists. Also, you can, of course, find it from your application view from your platform. Okay, the same view. So here, as I mentioned, we introduced lots of dimensions for the vulnerabilities, and to list those dimensions, maybe I can remove this risk level. And here's the possibility that you can use like different options here. So as I said, I don't have the exact dimensions that are new here, but from the documentation, you can see all the lists available in the link that I provided presentation.
Thank you for showing this.
Okay.
This is really cool, especially on the security side, right? There's so many new things we have, especially around runtime protection. It's also great to see all of these metrics that we have, because with the metrics, you can build your dashboards, but you can also drive your automation. You can drive your notifications and all of that. Thank you.
You can define your own customized stats and notifications, exactly the event types, or integration, third-party integration, of course. So it's definitely useful for us. Okay, so on the platform end, we have the new DQL parameter. It is a rollup parameter. You can see an example that this usage. So it can, for example, it can provide in this query that minimum of all average metric by hostname for a specific time frame, which is 2 weeks. This example. The next one is that another command we introduced. It's called field skip. This parameter briefly keeps the selected fields. There's no new fields as created in case it is not present on the record. So you can see that I am just listing the fields, which starts with DT and T here. I will also show you an example on the demo environments. Another one is that describe commands we introduced. it returns the specific fields and the relative data types listed here. You can see, you can explore what are the possibilities of this entity. So this is just one example where you can use the describe commands.
Mm-hmm.
The make time series commands, it helps you to chart non-metric data. So here I can list the log level error, the log lines which has this error, and I can see the number of these lines over this 5-minute period. In this example, I will also show you one quick demo on our platform. And we introduce these decal functions. We will go through one by one all these functions. No, I'm just kidding. So we will not cover all of these at once because we introduce like maybe more than 20, 30 functions here. You can find all these functions available in the documentation. Here's one of this list, and then another one is you can find from the release notes. The third one is from 272, but it's also that covers the decal functions. You can see the IP function, to IP function, and so on. So these are all available in the documentation. You can try. If you need help with these functions, please raise a question to our chat and to our DynaTest1 team, and then you can get your help needed. For the bin function, we updated this parameter in the documentation. It's also a minor update, and maybe you need more details about this function. So it's now available for this version. That's a little bit important. So we now have preset patterns for the most popular technologies in the field, such as AWS, Microsoft, and GCP. On the left side, you can see all these set patterns. You can also define your own pattern and save it and to use for future needs. So this is also introduced in this version. But this most the technology introduced in this version. With this release, we also have new metrics to understand and analyze your platform subscription license model. When you type DPS in Data Explorer, you can see all the available metrics listed in there. In this example, I see only the real user monitoring, billing usage by application. So it will be also help you to get more granular data about your licensing usage. And important announcements from our side that we will introduce Davis AI, Davis Copilots later in 2023. So it will be basically that's hypermodal AI. That's for unified observability and security. And DynaTest is the first, I think, that company that has this hypermodal AI platform in the industry. So please read this blog post. So that right now that there are not too much details on this screenshot, but once we have this feature available, of course, we will also cover this in one of our observability clinics. So please read this blog post and see how hypermodal AI will change the experience of the platform that you will have. Okay, that's all from the platform section. So let's jump on our demo environment again and see the available ones in the demo environments. As you see here, I have put almost everything in this notebook. For now, I cannot share this with you, but maybe as we have now a playground tenant, maybe in the future, I can use these links and address to that playground tenant and then share this notebook with you so that you can see all these new features available in one place and try it out and see yourself at what's the new updates that we have with the new versions. So as I mentioned, this roll-up at commands, as I said, it can provide you the minimum of all average metric series by hostname for a specific time period. So this is the way how you can use this rollup. It is also available as a transformation, rollup transformation in metric selector. So now it's also available in DQL. It can be useful for the users that have use cases for smooth data. And the field skip parameter, as I said, it keeps parameter, the specific parameter. In this case, it only has these fields, which start with DT entity. And as a result, I can see that only the fields that are available here, it starts with DT entity. it also explains itself. So this is the result of this. The describe command, as I mentioned, it shows you all the possible fields, data types, and available for that entity. Here's lots of possibility, lots of fields that you can use for different needs. So this is, you just need to use describe to see what's possible in there. The make time series commands, again, that helps you to chart raw non-metric level data. Here I can see that with this command, I can see how many log lines that are available during that time period. I can see, for example, 18 log records, which includes this log error. And for this host, it's listed for our last 5 minutes. It can be also useful for you to get this.
Is the default the default bin then 1 minute, I guess, with the make time series?
1 minute is the default for this 5 minutes, right? The resolution. Okay.
I'm just saying the make time series. So you're looking at 5 minutes here, and the make time series is then creating time series in 5 minutes intervals. Or in 1 minute interval.
No, it's 1 minute interval for 5 minutes. Yes.
Yeah,
if I do, for example, 30 minutes, it will show us the 30 data points.
Yeah.
I use this to just see the result and the log lines to match the records. So I saw that it 18 log lines as well. So it's basically that gets the desired results. Okay. So for as I said, the preset patterns for popular technologies. This let's see it in the DPL architect. If I, for example, go and extract fields here, we will directly jump this this saved pattern, which is Apache Access in this case. And if you look at these saved patterns for AWS, Apache, IaaS, GCP are the ones that now that we list here. And as an example, if I Apache one, and this is the log example I provided to you. Let's see if we get the result exactly. Well, with the help of this pattern, now we can fetch this part from this record. So it's basically that helps us to have more scalable that usage for different teams usage or for different log records. Let's say you can start using this most popular technologies from the set patterns to use DPL architects.
And are these, so some of these under Dynatrace, obviously, these are the ones that we are pushing, that we are providing as patterns. You can also create your own patterns. I think that's also really great because you have maybe your own log formats, your log structures, and you can define patterns that you can then easily apply to your queries by just using the DPL architect here. And thanks again for showing us where you find it. So you can click on a column or on a cell in your output, and then you can say, I think extract fields, and then it opens up the DPL architect. That's great.
And once we have the results, you can also see directly what the result you get from each field. So it's basically that shows if it's successful or not. Okay, that's good. So let's close this one. And the last one, I think, as I mentioned in the platform sites, the usage details for platform subscription. So now if I jump on this link, which is already open here, we introduce these metrics where you can see all the possibilities by typing DPS. And using these metrics, you can create dashboards, create alerts, that's notify teams. So basically all capabilities we have with Data Explorer that we can also use with these metrics. In this case, it is the real user monitoring with session replay, building usage by application. And I just analyzed that for a specific time period. So it's also a good update for us to give you more granular data. Let's remove these parts. Okay. And I will go back to the infrastructure section. Perfect. So on the infra sites, we introduce the monitoring mode settings schema change. So now this full stack property in the schema has been replaced with the new monitoring mode property is useful for here. And if I also go to the, if you go to your own tenant, you can see it's under the host settings. in the monitoring mode section, if you click on this, for example, three-dot button, you can see the schema information. You can also see the monitoring mode possibilities here. These are all available with this version. Okay. We also, let's start to support one agent lock module for Linux ARM64 architecture. You can see it from documentation as a summary. So it is now also available with this release.
Perfect. Mm-hmm.
All Kubernetes events with the event type of warning are considered relevant to identifying the root cause of issues. For example, if I list all these events by using EQL, I can see that this event type for Kubernetes and the log level is 1. These are all also that included the root cause detection. And you can also see it in your tenants. You can use it for different needs, for creating metric events or problem analysis. So this is also pretty useful for all of us to have this out of the box.
I think that's really great, because that means when Davis, our AI, detects an anomaly, a problem, then we automatically look at in all events that are root cause relevant. And now we automatically look at these Kubernetes events that have a warning, because warning typically indicates there's something wrong. So that's really good to see that this happens now automatically, that they will all be considered in the root cause analysis. Perfect.
Useful. And okay, so on the AX systems, now we added a description for detected CPU saturation to clarify that this high CPU saturation is not available on AX hosts. Just for information, a small change. Not change, just a small information here. And digital experience side. So we can stop here, go back to the infrastructure section, and let's see from the platform what is possible we have. So as I mentioned, the full stack property that's introduced in the monitoring mode section. So maybe it can be useful to check my notes quickly for this specific one to give you the right information. So exactly, it's for the schema info that I mentioned here. The host monitoring mode now has the property of full stack property. So this is maybe I give you the wrong impression here that these are not available. This was already available in here. So the full stack property in the new schema is available as the possible values of full stack and infra only. So this is just a representation of these values, but with the API, please use those parameters. And you can also see it from the documentation, which exact parameters that you need to use for the API. It doesn't change the host API for information, so it's basically only for this schema. Okay. And the other one is, as we already mentioned, the event types. The error event types in Kubernetes. So this is basically, you can get the results. So for now, I showed you already in the screenshot how we included the root cause detection for these events. And here, these are all the tools for these events and available. I just wanted to show you how it's possible for you to list all these events and see exactly what type of parameters you have for each event to explore the different possibilities in your environments. Okay. Let's go to the digital experience parts. Now it is no longer possible to create accelerator mobile page application via the web UI API. Basically, we will discontinue support for AMP application monitoring sometime in the future. You can also see it in the documentation to get more details. For the browser monitors running on public locations and private locations with containerized or non-containerized active gates, we now support certificate authentication. Here's an example. You can see from your browser monitoring configuration. So this is possible with this new release. Let's go back to our digital experience section quickly. there is just one feature I want to show you. For this browser monitor, Angular is treble abandoned. Here is the exact setup where you can see the use client certificates. To reach the setup, you just need to click on this test, go settings page, and it is under advanced setup section. You can configure this.
It's a good feature because I know a lot of our users, they have asked for this, that when we use Dynatrace for synthetic testing, that we can use client-side certificates for authentication-based purposes. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Another updates we have on the SLOs. Now we can see colorize based on status toggle in the SLO settings, which helps you to list that the current, to colorize that current status of the SLO. In this case, it is green. So this can be useful for dashboarding needs. We introduced a new blog post about Dynatrace configuration as code and how it works. So in general, that you can use the Monaco or the Terraform, for example, the Dynatrace provider that the Terraform provider that you can use to automate your needs of your platform configuration, ensure that the software is secure and reliable. And there are lots of course, that use cases here that usually that it's helpful for you in large single source of truth configuration setups to share the same configuration, but maybe deployed independently. So this is pretty useful for this. And second one that you can, for example, use this to detect that problems to run change impact analysis report proactively in Dynatrace. So this can be leveraged with this way to validate the impact of new releases on sources, logs, performance, or business measures. So this is just one example. You can see here, I know it's pretty small, but you can see it from the Monaco 2.0, that's clinic, YouTube clinic. It's basically shows us a workflow that listens for deployment events of the EasyTrades service, as an example, in the production stage. And after this validation process, you can also define the objectives configuration, which is validated by our site reliability guardian. And here is an example of this definition of these objectives. So basically, you can use that Monaco, as I said, and define these objectives, define the variables, and then push this to different tenants to keep the same configuration or to see the configuration chains for different tenants. So it's pretty useful for you to check this blog post in detail. And also we support, of course, ownership team information that you can ingest to your automation needs. And with this way, of course, you can use to create teams, maintain relevant information, responsibilities, contact details in a scalable and automated way. To read all this information in a more understandable way, this is the blog post that you can check. And this is documentation you can read in detail. The documentation of the Terraform provider are available in GitHub as well. And of course, the code samples and the observability connect that we have with Monaco 2.0. So these are all useful resources for you to start how you can automate your needs by using Monaco and Terraform.
Exactly, and I just want to wrap this up. Configuration as code really allows you to codify every Dynatrace configuration. And in the ideal world, you have your source code where you have your apps that you develop, and then next to that source code, you also want to have a section on Dynatrace configuration. For instance, your SLOs. Berkan, you showed maybe some workflows, maybe some site reliability guardian. So the idea is that your Dynatrace configuration travels with your source code. And as part of your delivery pipeline, you're pushing out these configuration changes to Dynatrace, whether you use the API directly, whether you use Monaco, which we provide, or Terraform. We're also looking into other options because we see, especially in the cloud native space, new upcoming players in the configuration as code. So whether it's Crossplane, Pulumi, there's things also that we look into. But yeah, thank you so much. Configuration as code, the observability of configuration as code is very important for us and allows you to scale.
Definitely. We also use it for, of course, our internal teams to push the tenants that smoothly and the same configuration. So also it helps us for testing purposes, especially for internal usage. Okay, now let's go to our platform to see if we have any demo on the automation side. Okay, there is nothing, so we can continue the settings section directly. Okay, another updates with the settings parts. Now we automatically delete the ActiveGate tokens that were not used for 2 years. So it will be introduced, I think, the latest version. You can read the details from the ActiveGate tokens documentation from this slide. Web of problem notifications. Now we support the accept any certificate setting for OAuth communication. Here's the section you can see it from the settings of that notification. I will also show you in a couple of seconds in our demo platform. We improved display names for event types and removed deprecated types. I know that this doesn't explain anything, but I think it's a minor change. The display name is only the difference. So just to make you aware of this change, I don't have more details on this. I think there's also no need for this, but this is basically a minor update on the documentation. Let's go to the settings section quickly. And here is an example of the problem notification. So from the settings parts, on the left side, you can reach the settings, or by Ctrl-K, you can see all these sub-menu items. Under the integration, we have the problem notifications. Once you click on problem notifications, you will see several possibilities. And I have used this custom integration type here to see the webhook URL. So as I said, now we accept any SSL certificates here. That is a setting option. So this is the place that you can directly find that feature.
Maybe one thing to this, because people ask me all the time, if you are a SaaS customer, should you use the problem notifications or should you use Dynatrace workflows to integrate with external tools? So for everybody that might be new, problem notifications have been in Dynatrace since the beginning of the platform, which allows you, in case a problem comes in, you have a one-shot integration option with external tools, whether it is a webhook, whether it's some of the other out-of-the-box configurations that we have. But so basically, there's a problem, exactly, right? And if you expand the notification types, if you expand that drop down for me, right? So these are some built-in integrations we have, but it's a problem comes in, is detected, and then we can, let's say, create a ticket or send a message to an external system. Now, you can compare this now to Dynatrace automation workflows. Automation workflows give you much more flexibility because you can really build workflows in Dynatrace where when a problem comes in, you can fetch additional data, like who is the owner. You can integrate not only one tool, but in a workflow, you can connect multiple tools together. So this is just when people ask, what should I use? Problem notifications or Dynatrace workflows? My answer is, if you are on Dynatrace SaaS, look into workflows first because they give you much more flexibility. But if all you need is just a single pushing a message over to an external tool, then problem notifications are, let's say, the easy way. But they're also a little bit constrained because it's just a single kind of direction integration. But yeah, thanks.
Thank you, indeed. It's a good question, indeed. Thank you for the insights. So, okay, let's go back to our slides. So I think the last part is the account experience section. We now introduced the cost monitors to assist you in managing your Dynatrace budgets and the cost usage details. Here's an example of forecast events displayed in account management web UI. I think it also explains itself, the forecast events here, available here, the consumption, the details over time, and you can see the annual commit period and so on. So basically, these are all available with the account management section. And it helps you to track your daily costs, different capabilities, individual capabilities for different environments. And you can also define that your alerting needs, notifications, forecast events, and so on to be notified proactively. So this is just a couple of examples you can find also from your platform view to define the configurations, and the notification center here that we list all these notifications available for overusage or that's different anomal behavior that you defined in the in your configuration. These are all available with the Cost Monitor of your account management section. And if you are already using the new platform subscription model, this is already available in your accounts. Okay? The blog post you can find here. You can also find it from our documentation under product news section. This is the documentation of Cost Monitors. So basically, these are all that resources that you need. To show you quickly what we have with the Cost Monitors, this is available under subscription section of your account management. Once you click on subscription, you will see the overview available here. And if I click on this, let's refresh this page again. And then here you will see the refresh data for the budget summary, the forecast events on the right side. To see all the forecast events, you just need to click on this button. And for each environment, we have the usage for the last 30 days. I can see the details are available here. So basically, you can already see it at what's possible, what's available with this this usage. I think that's exactly for the cost summary. I can see the daily usage also available here. So it is pretty useful for you and to get more granular information about DPS.
And no surprises. I really like the forecasting capability and getting the alerts. That's really good.
Okay. So again, for the feedbacks, I think that's all that from our side. So for the feedbacks, please use our community channels, use our chat as much as possible. These are the two main channels that for us to understand your expectations, to help you with your use cases, to improve also ourselves in a much better way day by day. So I think that's all from my end, Andy. Let's get back to you.
Yeah, just very quickly, first of all, thank you again, Berkan, for always creating this content, going back and forth between the slides and then also showing things in demos so people, it's a little easier to understand where things are. If you do me a favor, click on the next slide. So this is just a reminder again, what I said in the very beginning, there's a lot of new content we put out there on YouTube, on Dynatrace University. I can highly recommend to look at what is Dynatrace and how to get started, especially for everybody that is new or is switching over to the new Dynatrace platform capabilities. If you want to learn more about notebooks, if you want to learn more about dashboards, about workflows, then please have a look at this. There's also a lot of tips and tricks. The Dynatrace tenant review is something that we just posted very recently. Great, again, usage of a Dynatrace dashboard and giving you recommendations on how your Dynatrace environment is configured. This was done by our colleague Thomas, who created this for our customers to see and get a score on your Dynatrace configuration, and then also recommendation on how you can improve your configuration in case you have, let's say, forgotten to assign host groups to your hosts, in case you have not specified SLOs or synthetic tests. It's a really great way to step-by-step improve your Dynatrace configuration. And I think what else is coming? I think that's it. Yeah, some documentation updates. I think this is stuff we've put together. Folks, obviously these links, you can easily get them because we upload the video and also the slide deck that Berkan put together on Dynatrace University. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're a Dynatrace user, just go over to University and you can also download the slides, and then you have all of these links also available. And I believe with this, I think that's it.
I think we need a thank you section on the last slide.
That's true, yeah. All right. Hey, maybe stop sharing on your screen because then otherwise, yeah, perfect. Because I want to thank you now, Berkan, again. I get a lot of great feedback from people that are watching these what is new in Dynatrace. And as I said, the 99% of the credit goes to you because you put on all the work. So thank you.
No, please, thank you for all insights, your comments. It will not be possible without you. That you are really promoting that Dynatrace a lot in global. So it's great. Thank you very much.
That's okay. But we will have you back in September because we're really doing this on a monthly basis. So take what you have, check it out, what's new, and stay tuned on what's coming.
Sure, I will. Thank you very much, Andy, and speak to you again. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice breakfast.
Yeah.
Bye.